This is an example of some student work, and I think you can kind of read it. But the leading idea for the lesson is, keep thy heart with all diligence. And that is out of the very introductory section of the Liberty and Justice book. And if we were going to teach this lesson, we would read Proverbs 4, verse 23, and the children would read it. Excuse me. It says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And so I might ask them questions. What does it mean to keep our heart? First of all, we might have to know what keep means. Keep means to protect or take care of. And how would we go about protecting or taking care of our heart? Do we have a responsibility to be careful what goes in through our eyes, through our ears, what we read, what we watch, what we see? We have to protect it. That's keeping our heart. Can anyone else protect your heart? Whose responsibility is it? Now, as a parent, I have a responsibility to help protect the hearts of my children because they don't have enough discernment yet. But as they grow, I should be teaching them that discernment so that when they are grown, they know how to continue keeping their heart. Because out of the heart comes the issues of life. And you can see this is actually not a page exactly off of the CD in the book. I revised it just a little bit because I wanted to do something slightly different. But at the top I have the verse. And we underlined the word keep because then we defined it at the bottom of the page. Well, what is in our heart? In our heart are our ideas and our thoughts. And then we go across the chart, and that's the internal. And the external is that our actions and our choices. What's in our heart determines our actions and choices. And I'm pointing backwards to you. Yes?
We drew a little stick person over there on the side where it says actions and choices.
Okay.
Just to kind of give them another visual that what's in your heart comes out.
In your actions. Very good. So drawing a little person.
We drew a little person.
I'm not very good at drawing little persons. But they would enjoy it. And when we read the verse, we have to explain, what does it mean? The issues of life. What does that mean? What decides how we act, where we go, who we choose for our friend? Those are all issues of life that are very applicable to them. Now, this is a part of the introduction to the study. So this is setting the stage for those individuals who we'll study later, because later on, we can't know what was in their heart, but we can see their actions, so we can discern what was in their heart. And there were reasoning cause to effect. We're jumping all over. These are not in chronological order, I don't think. The next one is the leading idea. The Pilgrims wanted to be free to worship God according to conscience. And so we have the question, or the statement, the Pilgrims did not want to worship in the King's church. And a little picture that's supposed to represent the established church there. Well, if my leading idea is that the Pilgrims wanted to be free to worship according to conscience, what did they do? That's what was in their heart. What did they do? They met in homes to worship God secretly. So you can see how my leading idea, even, I'm thinking what's inside, and then what did they do externally? This lesson just dealing with God's providence in providing for the Pilgrims as they came to the New World. And this is just a page that I found online that they could color of the Pilgrims praying. And they wrote on it, the Pilgrims gave thanks to God for his care. How important that is to understand. We can look back and see God's care and protection, but the Pilgrims acknowledged it also. Bradford over and over in his history, telling how God provided through his providence. God did this or God did that. And it's so important for us to see that providence. That, remember, was one of our goals, course goals. Okay. Another example. The leading idea is that the Bible in the hands of the people changed history. And so we walk through this step by step. First of all, we have the Bible. Well, the people read the Bible. That's how we get it in our hearts, right? We read it and we hear it. They read the Bible, and we know from Bradford that they listened to godly preachers, and it changed their hearts. And what did they do? Then they changed their lives. Do you see, though, how we're reasoning that we make choices based on what's in our heart? They made the choice to change their lives. It's that cause and effect. Thinking internally to externally. God's word in their heart began to govern their external actions. Okay? And as a result, then, they wanted a church that would follow God's word. And so we take them step by step in that lesson through those ideas. And that changed history because they left the church and then events following that because of that. Another example of providence, and I enjoy this page. God protected the men of the Lewis and Clark expedition as they faced many dangers crossing the continent. And then these little pictures and lines for writing are placed in approximately the correct location. God protected them in their everyday life. God protected them as they traveled up the rivers and through the mountains, in their meetings with natives. And God provided food, safety. He provided Sacagawea and strength. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that last one. So God's providence in their lives. And we can see that. And it's kind of interesting to depict it sometimes in a creative way for the things that they do record in their notebook, like putting them on the different places on the map. Going back to that idea that we introduced maybe at the beginning of the year about the heart, keeping our heart with diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. There's another verse that says, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. And as we teach, at some point, whatever grade level you're working with, but as we teach the story of Benedict Arnold, as he thought in his heart, he chose his actions. And we see an interesting contrast between Benedict Arnold, the patriot, who in his heart loved America, and in his actions led troops to victory in battle, and then how his heart changed because of the seed of bitterness that he allowed to grow and bring forth fruit in his life. And he changed from being a patriot to being a traitor. And he was internally, he was disappointed, proud, ashamed, he had hatred, and externally, he decided to betray his country. An interesting contrast of how someone's character changes because of what's in their heart.